everyone, welcome to Project Management Series with Hannah. And in today's episode, I'll be talking about 7 informal skills you need to succeed as a project manager. In previous video, I talked about who a project manager is, what's his role of a project manager, and all of that. But in today's video, I want to highlight a few things that I have learned on my journey as a project manager that can help you as well. And these are not necessarily things that you would read in textbooks and all that. You might see them, but anyways, I've learned them on my own and I want to share them with you. The first one is relationship. I talk about leadership a lot and I talk about human beings, but one good thing that can come out of it is good relationship. Knowing how to maintain, first of all, form relationships with people, and how to maintain it is extremely important, and it can be such a difference. It can make such a difference in whether or not you succeed as a project manager or whether you would fail. People are more willing to sort of relate more with people that they know, people that they interact with, and all of that. Now, mails are important. Documentation is important. Structure is important, right? In all of these things, it is human beings that are drivers of each process. And so I think that this is my own opinion, but if you are an introverted person and you want to manage projects, you might need to be a little bit more extroverted or somewhere in the middle, because you need to be able to talk to people and to ask them how you're doing. Sometimes I'm calling my team members or people who are supposed to do something on the project for me, and I try to start by asking them how they are. And honestly, I genuinely mean it, right? They're okay, and I just go straight to the point. I know why you're calling me. What do you want? But knowing how to just not take everything too seriously. Now, of course, the project is serious. That is a serious endeavor that you have, right? However, just learning how to strike up conversations with people, knowing what their interests are, just knowing how to create a good relationship go a long way in helping you to get things done faster and to achieve success. The second one I'll be talking about is minutes of meeting. When I started project management, I think in 2019, during NYC, I worked as a project intern, right? One of the things that really helped me to really understand what a project was about was taking down minutes of meetings. Now, of course, minutes have become, taking of minutes, have become simpler because now you have AI tools that can help you take minutes. You don't have to be the one to write every single thing everybody says. But going back to that minute, sharing it, there'll be action points, right? There'll be things that have been agreed in the meeting. There will be new information that would have been passed in the meetings. There would have been, back and forth on some resolution of issues happen in such meetings, and they need to be properly documented. Having a well-documented minute of meeting saves you a lot of trouble. It also helps you to know, we've had this meeting now. The outcome of every meeting should have the next step, right? You didn't just come to have a conversation to have a conversation. Sometimes, of course, if you're there to agree on something, there would always be something for somebody to do. And it is when you pay attention to the minutes or pay attention to the, to the reports of that project, of that conversation, that you're able to pick, this person is, after we've had this conversation, we've had this agreement, we've had these discussions, this person is doing what? I need to follow up on this and all of that, right? So minutes are so important. They're so important. So now that AI has made it easy, it's much easier for you to share minutes of meetings immediately after the project, especially when crucial things are being discussed. It's important that you take note of that conversation that happened, and of course, what next everybody else would do. The next informal tip I'll talk about would be knowing how to follow up with people. Now, sometimes we expect people to just, you've already distributed the responsibilities, the roles, the tasks to everybody and all that. But it's also important that you follow up with people. And following up is such a crucial part of project management that it doesn't get talked about enough. Somebody needs to deliver something tomorrow. You need to call them today to ask them how it's going. You need to call them, maybe later in the evening to not to micromanage people. It's important not to micromanage people, but you need to follow up with people because you'll be surprised you send that email to that person and he or she has forgotten it because people are busy. They've moved on from their own task to another project they're working on, to another activity that they need to complete and all of that. So picking up your phone to say, hi, I just wanted to check in on you. How is this activity going? How close are we? What percentage are we at, on this activity and all that is extremely important. Now, the next tip I'll talk about is knowing how to ask questions. A good project manager is an inquisitive project manager. Ask the seemingly stupid question. Ask the question that makes people ask that. Does this girl even know what she's saying? Yes, ask those questions. Ask everybody you can think of questions because there will be questions to ask, and don't assume that you know. Yes, you might understand the broad overview of what needs to be achieved, and of course as a project manager it's your job to understand it and to actually set people on, but your team is there to also guide you in a way so that you can succeed. Your team is there to tell you, no, we need this, we don't need this, this is when we need this, this is the implication of this action, this is the impact of this action on another action. You need to ask questions. And the good thing is, the more you ask questions, the more you know. And the more you know, the more there will be more questions to ask. And the better your questions will be. Right? So when you ask, you start with stupid questions, like you don't even know anything. Then as they explain to you, you're understanding it, you're getting better. I remember when I first got transitioned into IT project management. Some of my team members now that, I've gotten, now I understand the environment much better. But when I got there, I was coming from healthcare and construction. And so apart from what I had read and, the things that I had studied, I didn't know much about that environment. Now, it's a different thing to even be in tech, right? It's now a different thing to be in a specific organization. Now, imagine somebody that was just coming from healthcare, I'd managed like a tech project, a telemedicine project, but it's still tied to healthcare in a sense, right? I didn't know much about IT project management, even though I'd done project management. I asked questions a lot. Sometimes when my colleagues see me coming, they're probably dodging me because they know I have a question to ask. On a project, they probably had to tell me that thing like 5 times. But guess what? It helped me to quickly understand the environment I was in. It helped me to avoid pitfalls. It helped me to really just, even when I fell into a pit, to quickly gather myself and move on fast, right? And it helped me to manage my projects better. So ask questions. Don't be afraid of asking questions. Don't be afraid of looking stupid. Looking stupid is a part of the process as a project manager, especially if you're in a domain that you don't really understand. You need to ask. And when you go on to do your own research as well, right? Like I said, you need to have the project document, do your own research and all that. When you've done that, there are questions that you need to ask. So you go back to the person who can help you, or you ask somebody who knows somebody who can help you to answer this question. So please ask as many questions as you can from everybody, from your sponsor, from your customer, from your team members, from your technical lead, from everybody you can ask questions. I'll also talk about being organized. Now, as a project manager, you are the one in charge of keeping the artifacts of the project, the documents of the project, right? So when they say, oh, we need this agreement and all that, as a project manager, you need to have that in your custody. So you have to be organized. You need to create folders on your laptop to say, these are the maybe key areas that, key sections of the project that need to ensure that as somebody is sharing documents, please be saving those documents in the appropriate folders. Be saving them. Try as much as possible to be organized, because you don't want a situation whereby there is a need for this document and you're searching, you don't have it. If there is anybody that should have the complete documents on a project, it should be you. And even when it feels like, oh, nobody wants to give it to you, ask for them. You're managing a project. You need to have the agreements that were signed on that project. If there's a budget for it that had been decided you need to have those documents. Don't be afraid to ask for the right documents, to organize yourself so that when there is a need for it, you are available to provide it. So as a project manager, you need to have an organized folder that has all your project documents, that has some important conversations, the folder that has minutes, the folder that has reports, the folder that has some additional artifacts, that has certificates if there is a need for it and all that. So be organized as a project manager. It would help you. Now, the last tip I'll talk about will be documents, right? Documentation is important in project management. I think I've mentioned this in one of my videos, so I don't want to overflog it, but that makes the seventh tip that would help you as a project manager. The seventh informal tip. So document conversations, document agreements, document the documents that are being, created in a project. Document the minutes, document the action points, document the next steps. Document. I hope that this video has helped you, and please don't forget to like, to share, to comment, and to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Bye, everyone.